Today, Erin Blanchfield finds out that her fighting style is inferior against a weight bully in her division. And what about Joaquin Buckley? Did he spike the drink of Vicente Luque? Did 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 he have a hangover? Was he tired? Was he malnourished? What was wrong with Luque in the octagon? Also, did you see Chris Weidman and his eye pokes of doom and his lack of acknowledging his eye pokes of doom? All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy Matt. We back here. We're going to break down UFC Atlantic City. So, at the very top, we're going to start with the main event, but there's one primary thing or topic that everyone who's talking about this card wants to talk about. But at the top, let's talk about Erin Blanchfield goes out there and takes an L, gets served a plate of L by Manon Fiorot. Bro, shout out to Manon Fiorot. I picked Erin Blanchfield to get the win, just like I think a lot of people did. But dude, what we saw, and we'll just get right to it real quick. Erin Blanchfield's style of stand-up is only useful against somebody that's not a weight bully. That's just what it's going to be. I wouldn't say Erin Blanchfield is not undersized for 125 pounds, but Manon Fiorot is probably a little oversized, if you will, for that division, but she's able to endure the weight cut and still hit her mark on the scale. With that being said, Erin Blanchfield doesn't have the type of stand-up in which that allows her to close the distance and get in the pocket and be able to engage with Manon or be able to grapple with her or take her down. She got a hold of Manon multiple times, numerous times I was trying to say. But Fiorot was just really a little bit sharper than I thought she was going to be as far as the grappling and the takedown defense, and probably the same for Erin Blanchfield. But most of all, most important about this fight, there was no way for Erin Blanchfield to close the distance against that long reach and range of Manon Fiorot. There was just no way that she could get in close. So, basically all you saw is Erin Blanchfield charging forward into the pocket. While she's throwing shots, at the same time, Fiorot's just too skilled of a stand-up fighter. And she was just able to slide to the side, catch her with a shot or two, back up, use her range, catch her with a shot or two, and keep her at bay. And Fiorot was cool with just basically doing that all 5 rounds. She didn't really, and I feel her. I mean, it's a big spot. You want to get a title shot. There's not, with Tatiana Suarez is out and a lot of things going crazy right now. There's not a ton of women because you're fighting Erin Blanchfield. So outside of Erin Blanchfield, there's not a ton of women that are going to probably jump over Fiorot to challenge for the title, especially while Tatiana Suarez is out. You know what I'm saying? Rose only has 1 win. So it's kind of that's kind of what it is. So she went ahead, did the safe thing, didn't risk the fight by trying to go out there and finish Blanchfield. She just, kept her range, kept her distance, kept pot-shotting her, hitting her with a few shots, had good takedown defense, had good scrambles, and that's just kind of what it was. So, shout out to Erin Blanchfield. I mean, she's still young. I think she's only 24 years old. She's got plenty of time, plenty of good years ahead of her. Once she figures out that little piece of her stand-up to be able to close the distance on a bigger opponent, she's good to go, bro. Straight up. She's good to go. So shout out to her. Shout out to Manon Fiorot, who basically in her post-fight speech basically said she's willing to sit out and wait until she can challenge the winner of Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Although they are doing the Ultimate Fighter, so homegirl might be waiting a while. Anyway, let's move on. We're moving on to the co-main event where Joaquin Buckley goes out there and defeats Vicente Luque. This right here, it was a weird fight because, in my opinion, Vicente Luque wanted out of there. His body language through the majority of the entire fight is he wanted to be out of there. I'm not sure what that was. I mean, he made weight. He looked like he was in good shape. I don't know if he was having some PTSD after he felt the power of Buckley to, possibly worried about taking more headshots. He previously had some issues, I believe, with a brain bleed. So, that when somebody like Buckley's aiming for your head, you might be like, you know what? Tough night at the office, bro. Let me just go ahead and, lay down, take a few little easy shots and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because but essentially the way the fight ended, Luque pulled guard. Now, Luque wasn't doing the best on the feet, but he wasn't getting demolished or anything. He was blocking a lot of Buckley's shots, but he was definitely losing the fight. And then Luque pulls guard, which is random. And once Buckley drops down on top of him, Buckley starts raining down shots, which for the most part were being blocked by Luque's guard. They weren't really landing other than on the forearms and elbows and wrists of Luque. But Luque did not fight it at all. He didn't try to get, feet on hips. He didn't try to push him off. He didn't try to roll to the side, catch an arm possibly, maybe for an arm bar. He didn't try to lock up anything. He just kind of laid there, and the referee ended up stopping the fight. And even Joaquin Buckley said in his post-fight press conference, he basically talked about it. He didn't really feel like Luque was really getting hurt at all. But that's how it ended. Luque is out of there. Joaquin Buckley, of course, completely, totally bungles his post-fight call-out where he calls out Anheuser-Busch to sponsor him or help him promote a St. Louis card in a few months, which definitely looks to be trash. Matter of fact, MMA fans, if you haven't seen it yet, look at this card that's going to be in a few months, I believe, in St. Louis. Trash card. Extremely trash. An extremely trash main event. Nevertheless, Joaquin Buckley goes out there and gets the win. Now, let's move on to the real topic of this show. Chris Weidman goes out there and defeats, in quotes, Bruno Silva. Okay, so I'm just going to get right into it. If there are a lot of Chris Weidman fans that might be watching this video, or if any Chris Weidman fans see this video, go ahead and tune out right now. If you haven't already tuned out, just tune out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we get ready to lay into Chris Weidman real fast. I will say, first off, like I did in the breakdown for this card, I am not a Chris Weidman fan. I am an Anderson Silva fan. So with that being said, Chris Weidman's been a jerk since he beat Anderson Silva. And I'm going to tell you why. He goes out there, he beats Anderson Silva the first time. And I get it. Anderson was playing games. You know, like the meme says, you F around and you find out. And Anderson Silva found out playing silly games. Weidman knocks him out. Okay, I was cool with that. I wasn't a Weidman fan, but I was like, fair play to him. They do the rematch, and in the rematch, clearly, while Weidman did check the kick, Anderson Silva snaps his leg on a leg kick, right? Now, in my opinion, Ray Longo, Chris Weidman's whole attitude after this and anything they said about Anderson Silva for years to come, whereas, he was an a-hole, he treated them bad, he was arrogant, he was conceited, all of these things. But the reality of it is, bro, I think they got kind of mixed up a little bit in Anderson doing Anderson things to promote his fights and to get the money he wanted out of the UFC. We're not going to get into that, but they always had choice words and always had that, I got you, I beat you, ha ha, you lost, type mentality toward Anderson. Then you fast forward years later, homie snaps his own leg the same way that Anderson did. Everybody, let's be real, bro. Unless you're the biggest Weidman fan in the world, everybody was sick of Weidman. Because ever since he lost to Luke Rockhold, it was a wrap for Weidman, bro. And we were sick of watching Weidman go out there, get demolished, get more CTE, get more head trauma. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes on Ariel's show after, like, I know I still got it, and all I need is, my next fight, I'm coming back strong. I was doing this, I was doing that. And he always has little excuses for why you lost the fight. Bro, okay. All right. Let's fast forward to this. So in this fight with Bruno Silva, bro, I just wanted to paint the picture that Chris Weidman has always kind of been a jerk about his career and about how he treats a lot of fighters. But he's a nice dude, though. He's a family man. He's a respectable dude. But as somebody who's not really a fan of his, I would always look at him and be like, bro, this guy is kind of like a little bit of a jerk. Even though he's a good dude, he's a family man. So there's always going to acknowledge the positives. With that being said, homie goes in there with Bruno Silva. Looked to be winning the fight. He probably would have won on the scorecards had the fight went the full amount of time. But Chris Weidman is consistently fouling via eye poke Bruno Silva the entire fight, bro. And even though he's being warned by the referee, he's still, his stance, he's got his hands forward. He's, I probably messed up my camera lens reaching forward like that, but I'm going to do it this way. He's reaching forward with his fingers extended, to kind of disrupt the rhythm of Bruno Silva, which is cool. You're allowed to do that, but you have to put your hands forward like this. Your fingers must be up. They cannot be down, and you're reaching forward to disrupt the tempo of Bruno Silva. This is why he caused multiple eye pokes, right? And then, to show his desperation, just thirsty, Chris Weidman full-blown thirsty, just the thirst was real. He's so thirsty to get a win that at the end of the fight, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Essentially, you're watching the fight and Bruno Silva goes down. And you're not really sure what's going on, what he got caught with, but he goes down. But you can tell by his body language, once the referee calls off the fight, that he's protesting quickly, and he seems to be completely in it. Like he's not concussed, he's not knocked out, he's not wobbly, or anything like that. We find out in the replay, while Weidman is celebrating, while, Atlantic City is cheering for him and all this stuff, New Jersey, we find out that he not only eye poked him once, but twice, and Bruno Silva hits the deck, hits the ground in pain from the eye pokes, and is actually covering his face down, because his eyes have been injured, because he got poked in both eyes, 2 eye pokes, bruh. So then, Weidman's out here celebrating. So then the next thing you see, fight is now over. They're interviewing Chris Weidman after, right? Because the referee has waved off the fight, and it's a TKO victory, not so fast. But for right now, for Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman gets on the mic and blames it on Bruno Silva. For one, says that he was eye poked himself. My guy, chill out, Chris Weidman. There was one time that it was a possible poke by Bruno Silva, but it was at the exact same time that you poked him in the eye. And that was like your 3rd or 4th offense in the fight. But I'll give you that. Maybe he did poke you in the eye once to your 4. But also, let's talk about the fact that he blamed it on him and said that when you're getting poked in the eye, you can't drop to the ground, or you're at the mercy, so to speak, of the referee to stop the fight. How about you don't go out there and poke somebody's eyes out? How about you're not thirsty, so desperately thirsty for a win? I mean, homie was thirsty for a win like a freshman college student at a frat house party. She thirsty. She ain't there for the drinks, if you know what I'm talking about. Nevertheless, bro, this homie, I mean, like, what are we doing, dude? Like, you're so thirsty for a win that you gonna blame it on Bruno Silva. You know what I'm saying? You gonna blame it on Bruno Silva. Like, what was he supposed to do? He got poked twice in the eye. Yeah, he's gonna drop to the ground and cover his eyes because he's in pain. And he's like, oh my God, there's a mysterious man across from me that keeps poking me in the eye, which is an illegal thing in a fist fight. You can use anything, but don't poke me in the eye, bro. So, bro, Chris Weidman is lame. He was lame after the fight in the post-fight speech. He was lame in the post-fight press conference, still talking about trying to blame it on Bruno Silva, showing how thirsty he is. Then he gets on the mic, acts like he knocked the dude out, and then yells out that he's back. Bro, we don't even want you to be back, all right? Again, respectable dude, family man, all of these things. So thirsty for a win, he's going to go out there and win by foul. But nevertheless, bro, he celebrates like he just knocked the dude out and starts talking about he's back. And he feels like he's getting better. And he wants to go on a run. My dude, would you please do us all a favor and just go sit down, bro? Now you can go out on a win. You won. Also, after, like, literally while he's making his post-fight speech, after it's over, but during, they made the decision during his speech, Brandon Fitzgerald lets us know that they've went ahead and took away the TKO victory, gave him a win via scorecards, because instead of a DQ of Chris Weidman, the referee ruled it as a stoppage, right? And in this sense, they have to go to the scorecards, and whoever is winning on the scorecards at that point is declared the winner, because it was kind of like I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't remember the official term, but essentially it was a stoppage via a foul. But it wasn't ruled a DQ. So, you figure that out. Nevertheless, Weidman gets the win. Weidman, just stop, bro. I'm sure he'll do a tour on Ariel's show. Ariel will figure out a way to make this Bruno Silva's fault, because he's always been in Weidman's back pocket, like his whole career. So, you know what I'm saying? He'll figure out a way to make her... Like, come on, guys. I mean, Bruno Silva's got... Those eyes are so big. If his eyes weren't gaping wide open, I mean... like, bruh, get out of here, my dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's like... Bruh, I'm disgusted by Chris Weidman as a fighter. As a man, shout out to him. Family man. He got 2 checks. Shout out to him. It's always good to see a family man bringing home 2 checks to his children. But you know you got away with one, Weidman. You know you got away with one. Anyway, let's move on. I got so into that, I don't even know what the next fight was. Let's see what the next fight is as I check my Nizzos. Oh, this was interesting. Rajabov stepped in there with Cedricus Dumas. Bro. Yet another one that ends via foul. Dumas gets fouled. And the referee misses the eye poke. And Dumas, another eye poke by Rajabov this time. Dumas gets poked. Referee misses it because the reffing was horrible. Especially, shout out to Mini Brock Lesnar, though. I forgot the name of that referee because me and my friends always called him Mini Brock Lesnar. I think it's what a lot of people called him. I think DC calls him Mini Brock Lesnar. Nevertheless, shout out to Mini Brock Lesnar, but he's still a terrible referee. But a lot of bad reffing. Dumas gets poked in the eye. Referee misses it. Dumas tries to halt the action on his own. You know, Rajabov wasn't having it. Boop, 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 boop. Lays him out. That's the end. He wins via stoppage. So, that said, he moves forward. I feel bad for Dumas, but... You know, it is what it is, man. It was bad reffing. It was Atlantic City. What was the betting like in New Jersey? Like, maybe the refs had a little bit of money either way in certain fights and was like, man, I need to make this happen. I'm trying to get this DraftKings paper. DraftKings holler at me. Now, I lost a little bit of money on Saturday night DraftKings, but I'm still pubbing you. I'm still out here doing the thing. Holla at me, DraftKings. Matter of fact, MMA, you can get it on the ground floor. Anyway, that's that fight. Moving on, we got Bill Algeo takes an L to Cal Nelson. There's nothing else to say, man. I'm a huge Bill Algeo fan. I thought he was going to get it done, but, Cal Nelson caught him early. Caught him early with like a looping hook, like a looping right hand. And, Algeo somewhat recovered, but not completely. Because Bill Algeo's got a heck of a chin. And he recovered enough to get back into his offense, but when he caught another heavy shot later on from Cal Nelson, Cal Nelson, that was a wrap. So Canadians own Cal Nelson. Canada, y'all took a L at your last pay-per-view or your last major show. Maybe y'all can all get on the bandwagon, get on the train of Cal Nelson. Because y'all don't have many others to get behind. And GSP don't look like he's coming out of retirement. So, that's that. Anyway, Cal Nelson goes out to get a win. Shout out to Chitty Bang Bang. Chitty Njokwani goes out there. He defeats Reese McKee. One referee that was probably betting in Atlantic City against Chitty. He gave the fight to Reese McKee. I don't see how, but nevertheless, at least Chitty won by the scorecards. I will say Chitty had devastating, quick, rapid leg kicks, quick snapping body kicks, and some really, really sneaky elbows. Elbows coming from directions where nobody else saw them coming but Chitty. So, shout out to him, man. That was great. How about Nate the Train, baby? Nate the Train. We talking about Tennessee's own. You know what I'm saying? Nate the Train. Even though I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, we talking about Nate the Train, baby. Shout out to all the country folk out there doing their thing. He goes out there, gets a win over Jamal Emmers, and gave yet another Nate the Train interview, which was awesome to see. He just kept pubbing. Nate the Train, baby. Nate the Train's in the UFC, baby. So, shout out to him, man. He's always exciting. Verna Jandarova gets a win over Lupe Godinez. I didn't see that coming, and a lot of people didn't see that coming. Shout out to her. I think she's on a little win streak. So it's good for her, man. Outside of that, how about Dennis Bazooka? Stepped in there with Connor Matthews and sent Connor Matthews to the Shadow Rizalm. So shout out to him, man. He won Performance of the Night on that one, so that was awesome to see. How about the Pleasure Man in the fight of the night with Ibo Aslan? Bro. This fight kind of banged, and nobody is a big fan of the Pleasure Man. But Anton, he came to scrap, and he was doing his thing. In the first and second round, Anton, shout out to him, was doing his thing, man, but that power of Ebo, it ain't no joke. And he sends him to the Shadow Realm, the land of wind and ghosts. You know what I'm saying? He sent him to the upside down, the right side up, every other realm. You know what I'm talking about? So, that was the end of him. How about Andre Petrosky goes out there and gets KO'd by Jacob Malkoon's his hip bone. Homie shot for a takedown, hit his head on Malkoon's hip bone. I'm like, dang, Malkoon's hip bone, what's that mofo made of? Titanium. That's a Teflon hip bone right there. Because, bro, Petrosky was out. He was on Dream Street. So, that was that. Outside of that, we had Pacheco go out there and Lochran put on a clinic. Shout out to Lochran, bro. He's short, stocky. He is I would say his striking isn't loose, it's stiff, but the power makes up. That power makes up for his striking. He's not a loose striker or a fluid striker. But bro, that was that, man. UFC Atlantic City. Unfortunately, the primary thing everybody's talking about is Dusty Chris Weidman. But that's what it was, man. UFC Atlantic City. It went down last Saturday. Y'all let me know what you thought about it. I do want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.